are the humble Fender Telecaster, quite possibly the best electric guitar model ever made. It's probably my favorite. It's super simple, yet incredibly versatile. It's a wonderful guitar all round, a beautiful looking thing, a fantastic sounding beast as well. And well, quite frankly, Leo Fender got it right the first time in the early 50s with this design. But that's not to say that every other guitar maker since hasn't made their own take on the Telecaster to try and improve it. So what we're going to do today is look at 4 of the most recent ones that I've had in my collection and I've had here to make some videos with at Rich Words Music Towers. Now this is my 2014 Fender Mexican Standard FSR Telecaster, my #1 guitar, my go-to for the past decade plus, and we're going to be putting it up against 3 other guitars from $400 to $4,000+. We've got a Jet Guitars JT350, an Ibanez Prestige made in Japan AZS2209, and finally the 4th guitar in the comparison is the beautiful boutique superlative Paoletti Nancy Loft SP90, and that is a €4,200 guitar, $4,000 plus in North American prices. Do you really need a Telecaster like that? I know that back in the day Leo Fender built these to be affordable working musicians guitars where you could easily swap out pickups or a neck and get back on the road straight away if you needed something. Would he be turning in his grave if he knew that today you could buy Teles from the Fender custom shop at $5,000 plus? Possibly he would, who knows? But anyway, what we're going to do is compare these 4 guitars in this video, and well, you'll need to let me know which one you think sounds best at the end of the day. Now I'll play a bunch of different riffs in different styles with each of the 4 guitars. We'll splice things together so you really get to hear how close they are and how not close they are on certain other things, and at the end I'll give you a few opinions about each guitar and which I think might be the best value for money for the modern day guitarist. Timestamps to everything is going to be down there in the description and the comments if you'd like to skip through to a certain part of the video that suits you best. But now I'm going to tell you first just some basic specs and info about each of these 4 guitars. And do take note that I do have in-depth videos of all of these guitars elsewhere on my channel that you can go and watch after this. And if you'd like to hear even more detail about the guitars, the stories behind the companies, and in-depth features and specifications too. But let's start with the Tele because it's in my hands now and it is the real deal, the one after which all other Telecaster style guitars came. So this is the 2014 Fender FSR Satin Telecaster, and it does have a beautiful satin urethane finish, no poly on this body, and it's a wonderful ocean blue candy color. And when I saw this guitar released new back in 2014, I knew that I had to have it, and I still have it today, and it is my #1 played guitar ever since then. And you'll have seen it in literally hundreds of videos on my channel over the past few years. So what do you get with this guitar? Well, it would have cost me about €500 back in the day. A standard Mexican player Tele is a bit more today, but it's very much an affordable instrument in the grand scheme of things. And it's pretty standard Fender fare too, although I've made some mods to this one over the years. Now you have an older body with this guitar, a maple neck, and a 21 fret rosewood fingerboard, medium jumbo frets on this guitar. It came with standard Fender single coil Tele pickups, and I've left the bridge pickup in here. It's a ceramic bridge pickup, by the way, but I had the neck pickup replaced with this wonderful, the Creamery wide range humbucker, and I've got a push tone knob here that I can use to split that down as well. Master volume control, 3-way selector switch there, and this guitar originally came with a 6-saddle modern Telecaster style bridge, but I swapped that out for a Wilkinson vintage ashtray style bridge with 3 brass saddles. One more look round to the back there, and this is a standard slab of wood, just like your standard Telecaster would be. Beautiful looking thing. Now moving up to the neck, and all of these 4 guitars are going to share the scale length of 25.5 inches because they're Teles, of course, they have to be that scale length, don't they? On this specific guitar though, we've got a modern C profile maple neck, and it's topped with a rosewood fingerboard. 21 medium jumbo frets on this guitar. It came with a synthetic bone nut originally, but I've had a bone nut fitted over the years, which I highly recommend if you're thinking about doing it, and a standard iconic Fender Tele headstock there with Fender's own tuners on this one. So this is my #1, my 2014 Fender Standard Mexican FSR Satin Telecaster. And now let's go down in budget and look at the cheapest guitar of the 4. It's the $400 Jet JT350. And this is the Jet Guitars JT350. This is a 2025 model, and it's an affordable take on the Telecaster style of guitar. This will set you back under $400 or 400 euros, which makes it even cheaper than a new Squier Classic Vibe Telecaster. And while the Jet looks like an old school elegant sort of a Tele with this beautiful sunburst finish and binding to the top of the body, it's also got more modern playing feel to it as well. And if I move us around to the back of the body, you can see here we've got something like a deep tummy cut there and an extra cutaway on the lower horn, and these are kind of modern tweaks to that classic Telecaster style of design. Now the body on this guitar is basswood, and on the top here, well, we've got a bunch of other pretty cool stuff going on too. A Wilkinson modern 6-saddle Telecaster style of bridge, and we've got Jet's own pickups in this guitar, a neck humbucker and a bridge single coil Tele style. You can split the neck humbucker via the tone control, master volume control, and a 3-way selector switch there as well. And moving up to the neck, and things are pretty modern here too. We've got a Canadian roasted maple neck, lovely satin slinky feel to it as well, in a modern C sort of a neck profile shape. 25.5-inch scale length here, rosewood fingerboard with 22 frets, which look and feel like medium jumbo to me. Up at that roasted maple headstock, we have that rather cool Jet logo, and 6 inline Jet chrome locking tuners as well. So sub $400, and that's a lot of guitar for the money. Now let's look at the Ibanez. This is the Ibanez AZS2209H, and this is a prestige model made in Japan to the highest of Ibanez's specifications. When these guitars came out, they were about $2,000 or about 2,000 euros, but they've been discontinued since, sadly, so they're going to cost you slightly less if you can manage to find one now. And this being a prestige, it comes with an excellent, snug-fitting, well-molded hard case as well. Now, underneath this antique turquoise finish is an ash body on this guitar, and on the top, again, you'll notice that we've got a neck humbucker going on, so quite clearly that is a theme with modern day Telecaster styles of guitar. And the pickups here are going to be Seymour Duncans. In the bridge we've got a Telecaster style Alnico 2 Pro Custom, and in the neck it's the Seymour Duncan Magic Touch Mini humbucker. We've got this sort of melted Telecaster style control plate here with your standard 3-way switch, master volume and master tone controls, and being Ibanez we have some extra switching to either split down the humbucker, run the pickups in parallel and series, and so on and so on. Again, more detail on all of this in my dedicated video of this guitar elsewhere on my channel. Now the bridge here is a Goto F1803 model, 3 saddles as you would get on a standard classic Telecaster, and on the back here again, big tummy cut here, and Ibanez's super all-access neck joint too. And moving up to the neck, and we have a beautiful roasted maple neck coupled to a roasted maple fingerboard, 22 jumbo stainless steel frets and real abalone fret markers on this guitar as well. We've got an oil impregnated bone nut, your standard Fender 25.5-inch scale length, and Ibanez's AZ oval C neck shape, which is going to be not too fat, not too thin, really comfortable and slinky to get up and down. And up at the headstock, we've got that standard Ibanez AZ headstock going on, and we've got Goto Magnum locking head tuners on this guitar as well. So you get a whole lot of specifications and that hard case for your money here. This is the Ibanez AZS2209, considerably more expensive than the Fender, way more expensive than the Jet JT350. Does it sound better? We're about to find out. But now let's look at the most expensive guitar of all in today's 4-way comparison. And this is the Paoletti Guitars Nancy Loft SP90. This guitar will set you back over $4,000 or euros here in Europe. It's a totally boutique, modern take on the Fender Telecaster, but built to very traditional standards as well. Now, for those of you not familiar with Paoletti, I really recommend that you watch my detailed, in-depth video of this guitar as well, where I go a lot into the backstory of the brand as well. But suffice to say, they always use 150-year-old chestnut wood for their guitars, which originally came from the Paoletti family's wine barrels that they had on their estate. And well, these days they source all of their wood from Italy, and it's super old chestnut wood, and you're always going to get that with these guitars, and that really makes them a unique offering in today's guitar world. Now, you'll have also noticed the amazing finish on this guitar. This one has a 2-way finish. It's a sunburst with butterscotch black over the top, and it kind of looks like it's been relicked beautifully as well. It's a wonderful looking instrument that I know is going to divide opinion, because I know that some of you don't like relics, but I think this guitar looks absolutely stunning in the flesh. And in terms of the rest of the hardware and everything else we've got going on, it's the highest of quality that you could expect. As much care and attention has gone into every step of this build as possible, and as much love has gone into making the best possible guitar for whoever ends up owning the instrument. So we've got Paoletti pickups on this guitar, and we've got a P90 in the neck of this one, so that's a pretty cool thing, alongside the Telecaster-style bridge single coil. We've got a Paoletti classic Telecaster-style ashtray bridge here with 3 brass saddles, standard 3-way switch here, and a standard volume and tone control operation. But again, you'll have noticed these look a bit different. That's because Paoletti used genuine used shotgun shell casings to make their volume and tone control covers. Pretty darn cool. One more look at the back of this guitar. What a stunning looking piece of old chestnut wood I'm holding in my hands. Now moving up to the neck, and we have a roasted maple neck with this guitar and an extremely dark Pau Ferro fingerboard. Yes, this is Pau Ferro. 22 frets on this guitar, and up at the headstock, well, we've got that Paoletti headstock and Clouson Deluxe tuners as well. This being a Paoletti, it comes in a wonderful snug case, just like the Ibanez, but an even higher quality, heavier feeling case. You get a load of case candy as well. You get a strap, you get tools to help you maintain the guitar, you get strap locks, and so on and so on and so on. Again, my dedicated video goes into a bit more detail on this. But this is the Paoletti Nancy Loft SP90. It's an absolutely superlative guitar in every way. Let's see if the other 3 guitars can compare to it now then. So my rig for today is going to be my Hughes & Kettner Black Spirit 200 head. We'll use some of my favorite pedals to spice things up tonally as well. And we'll start with some pristine classic Telecaster clean tones, and we'll gradually up the gain until we're tuned down to drop D and playing some modern metal, because why not? A Telecaster really is a truly versatile all-round guitar and can play pretty much everything. So we're going to put that to the test now. Timestamps to each different musical genre and style is going to be down there if you'd like to skip to a certain style, but join me for some Telecaster riffage now, and we'll speak in a bit more detail about these 4 T-style guitars afterwards. Okay then, so that was the battle of the Telecasters, and I hope you enjoyed the playing, the riffs and the tones, and I hope you'll believe me when I tell you that that was an awful lot of work to put that together, but it was bucket loads of fun as well because I just love playing Telecaster style guitars. But what I want you to do now is leave me a comment telling me which of the four guitars you preferred. Did you love the budget tenacity of the Jet? Did you prefer the standard Mexican Fender Tele? Or are you someone who needs to spend a bit more and have something like the Japan-built Ibanez or the Italian-built Paoletti? As usual, would love to hear what you folks think. But now it's time for me to give you my thoughts and opinions on these four guitars, and I'm going to go through them in order again in terms of price. And we'll start with the most affordable, the Jet JT350. Well, I think this is a fantastic budget option, but it's not just a budget guitar. If you've got a bit more money and you put some money into a setup and maybe you consider modding a couple of things, well, you're going to have a guitar that's going to stick with you for years and years to come. The JT350 is a really nice playing instrument. I love that you've got the vintage Tele sort of style aesthetics to it, but you've got the modern playability of that neck. I love the fact that you've got the Canadian roasted maple neck too. Really nice feeling it is, and the rosewood fingerboard is a bonus in 2025 in terms of an affordable guitar having a rosewood board. I think the Jet pickups sound great as well. I think the neck humbucker is a nice touch. It gives it something extra as well. So it's a wonderful guitar if you're dipping your toe into the waters of the Telecaster, or if you're just looking for another T-style of instrument. Things go up a notch for me though when we come to the Fender standard Telecaster. This is my number one guitar, and in a way, of course, I'm totally biased for this guitar. It feels like home to me. I love it in every way and I love everything about it. So it's my favorite of the bunch, of course, but it's my favorite of every guitar ever, so it would have to be as well. I love the way this guitar feels. I love the way it sounds. I love the way it looks, and I'm not going to pretend that in terms of build quality it's anywhere near close to the Ibanez or the Paoletti, but you don't necessarily always need that with a Telecaster. We just have the standard Fender tuners on this guitar, but they've always done a great job for me. Yes, I've had a bone nut put on this one, and I think that has upped the ante somewhat, along with the Wilkinson brass 3-saddle bridge that we've put in as well. And I do really have to say special words about the Creamery wide range neck humbucker. That is a wonderful thick sounding humbucker when you need it, but split it down and it sounds like the neck pickup on a standard Telecaster too. So that is a wonderful addition to have. And again, I think these days if you're looking for a Tele, get a P90 or a mini humbucker or a humbucker in the neck, because it just gives you so many more options. And if you can split that down like you can with this guitar, like you can with the Jet, like you can with the Ibanez, you have so many more creative musical options too. Now, in terms of the value for money on the Fender, well, back in the day, this was about $500 or thereabouts. I put some money in for the mods and setups over the years, and it's had thousands of playing hours and recordings and so on and so on. And I think it's worth every penny. And I always think that a Fender Mexican Tele is a great choice if you're looking for a decent starting point for a Telecaster style of instrument. And if you're looking for a new one today, the Player 2 series are a wonderful choice, albeit closer to $1,000 than this one was back in the day. Now, the third guitar in the comparison was the Ibanez Prestige AZS2209H, and that is a fantastic instrument as well. It's a much more modern feeling guitar than any of the others. Again, you've got a beautiful roasted maple neck on that instrument and those jumbo stainless steel frets, and you've got that Ibanez AZ aesthetic to the body as well, even though it's a single cut. You've got the great Seymour Duncan pickups as well. I absolutely love that Magic Touch mini neck humbucker that you've got on this guitar, and I love the fact that you've got that kind of melted looking scratch plate that does add to the playing comfort as well, along with the tummy cuts on the body and the super all access neck joint. Now, if you're someone who loves that kind of perfection of an Ibanez build, then I would always recommend the AZS. I think it's a fantastic guitar, and currently at time of filming it's just been discontinued and the prices are edging down. So if you can snag one for about $1,500 or $1,600, that is going to be a fantastic value for money proposition. But if you're someone whose wallet extends to the thickness of being able to afford something like the Paoletti at $4,000+, well, you owe it to yourself to try out a Paoletti if you ever get the chance. This is probably the highest quality guitar that I've ever played, and it is basically peerless in terms of build quality. I would challenge you to find anything better out there. You know, in terms of price, it's going to be similar to something like a Sewer or something like a custom shop Fender, but there's a different kind of mojo to the Paolettis, and I think a lot of that stems from the old 100-year-plus chestnut wood that they're using in the bodies, and well, you've got that amazing sort of relict butterscotch over sunburst finish as well. And I know that that is going to kind of turn some of you off, but you can do different choices with Paoletti as well. You're always going to get the chestnut body, but pretty much everything else you can customize to your own needs. You don't have to have a relic looking sort of a finish. You can have a single finish, you can have a double finish, you can have a sparkle finish. They'll build you whatever you like, but you can choose between different pickup types. You can get different hardware, different neck woods, different fingerboard woods, and so on and so on. But everything about that Paoletti guitar is absolutely wonderful, and of course you pay a price for that, but if you've got the money, it is absolutely going to be worth it. Conclusions then? Well, originally Leo Fender built the Telecaster to be an affordable working musician's guitar. He wanted them to be easy enough to swap out a neck or something that was broken very quickly and very easily. It was a production line guitar. It was affordable, it sounded great, but it was nothing more than that in a way. And over the 75 years that have followed, well, a lot of mystery has developed around tone woods and around pickup windings and so on and so on. And that's all great and good, but at the end of the day, a Telecaster is a very simple affair. And if you don't want to, you don't need to spend a whole lot of money to get a great one. I think the Jet JT350 is a fantastic first Tele for someone who has $350, $400 lying around and wants to get into the world of the Telecaster. At the same time, I think a Mexican Telecaster like this, for around twice the price maybe, is a wonderful proposition as well. And that's a guitar that's going to be with you for life. And of course you can mod it easily, like I have with my own Fender Telecaster. If you've got more money though, and if you want something even more luxurious in terms of feeling and in terms of build quality, the Ibanez AZS is going to be a fantastic choice. And if you want to go the whole hog, if you've got the money, then try out a Paoletti, because that is something on a totally different level completely, and a fantastic thing. Now, which of these four guitars would I own if money was no object or anything like that? I think I would probably get a custom Paoletti built, because I think any of us would. But otherwise, well, this is my Tele. I've had it for over 10 years. It's an extension of my body by this point, and I'm never getting rid of it. So the Fender wins for today. But let me know what you think. Did you prefer the Jet, the Ibanez, the Paoletti, or maybe the Fender? Like I said earlier, it would be lovely if you could tell me which of the four guitars you thought was the best. And if you have any other Telecaster style instruments in your life that you think could rival my Fender Tele, then give me recommendations of what I should try down there in the comments as well, because I'm always looking for the next great T-style instrument, and you never know, you could be the person who makes the suggestion to me. But anyway, plenty more videos like that to come on the channel, so give me a like and a sub if you haven't already, because that really does help. But that's been it for today. I've been Rich, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.